Sup shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we got ourselves a track from an act named Isabel and The Whispers, and this track is titled Dot to Dot, and we have Alec Minge on drums, Octavio Padron on guitar, and Isabel Marchicelli on piano and vocals. If we switch over to here, we got ourselves a track on YouTube, a video for it, and this was recorded originally in 2008, and it's actually the 10th anniversary since they released the self-titled album, Isabel and The Whispers, so that's pretty cool. And we're going to listen to this track from start till finish and hear what we think. Let's go. Cool, we're starting with some piano. Kind of sounds like a vocal melody on that piano there a little bit.
I paint the dots along
Nice.
and round in a sea of points.
It's nice to have the vocals sitting so nicely on top of the piano there. I'm also really appreciating the vocal melody that's occurring at the moment. Like, it kind of suits really well with the piano, and there was a nice vibrato on her vocals.
You make to me
It's very fragile and matches the tonality of those instruments come through. They come together very well.
take my hand,
Repeating that vocal melody.
through the parts of you that I don't understand. Dot to dot.
Dot to dot. Nice, and we've got that hook line there, dot to dot. We got the guitar in there as well. I can hear a bass as well.
Dot to dot. Dot to dot.
Yeah, like, because I think I can hear a bass guitar. If I look here, there's a bass soils minor. There's a bass guitarist as well.
Just draw me closer to you, dot to dot. Draw me closer to you.
Because there's definitely, I can hear a bass guitar on there. I know you've got Octavio on the guitar, but I can also hear a bass.
Dot to dot. Connect the stars, you'll find no constellation quite as beautiful as you.
Nice, it's beautiful. That's a really charming sort of like vocal melody. They're talking about the constellations and how they're coming together as lovers, and it's very beautiful and poetic, and there's a nice imagery that comes with that.
In the sky,
Nice chorus effect on the arpeggios on the guitar, and the drums are pretty solid as well with the brushes on the snares and cymbals and stuff.
it's the shapes and contours of your face as you reveal to me. Dot to dot. Dot to dot.
It's nice as well to have the bass in that upper register as well. It's cool. It's nice because often the bass guitar is a sort of a foundational root note instrument, but to be able to move around in the frequency spectrum like that and have that space in the mix is really cool.
Dot to dot. Just draw me closer to you. Dot to dot. And let me kiss you, baby. Dot to dot. Dot to dot.
It's nice, and there's a nice sort of sense of dynamic range to this as well. You've got quiet parts and louder parts. You're not over compressing the mix, which is quite incredible, really, considering how YouTube is with audio compression. But I like that.
Dot to dot. Draw me closer to you. Dot to dot.
It's nice. We have this sort of like I think I was thinking about this before. It's got a hallelujah And you know, got that da, and you expect it to resolve, but it goes back into the yeah, it goes back into the minor or like a darker note than that, which is kind of dope. It doesn't resolve itself. There's tension in this despite how loving the track is.
Kiss you, baby, dot to
And then we're
dot.
finishing on the major there. Well done. Yeah, because we are aware acutely that we need to make sure that you know, like when you're writing a piece of music, if you go back to that root note at the end of a section, it sounds like it finishes. A really easy way to extend the length of a chord progression is to just not resolve the chord harmony and to just go back to like the second or the fourth chord or the third chord or whatever. You know what I mean? Really nice. You know, it wasn't a terribly complicated orchestration. You know, you didn't have a yeah, you obviously had like I could hear a bass guitar in there. I could hear a guitarist, I could hear drums and the piano and the vocals. They were all coming together really well and it was very charming. A very charming experience there. You know, like there was no one instrumentalist treating this like an ego project, which I thoroughly enjoy. You know, Isabel's vocals and the story she was telling with the dot to dot and you know the connections she wanted to have with someone and sort of testing out the waters there were beautiful, and the guitar line was, you know, like there were no chords because the pianos the chords were being played by the piano, right? So the guitar was higher range, kind of like the star tonality to it, as in like stars, and it sounded very bright and there were occasional kind of littering the night sky. And of course, the drums had a great sort of ambience to them. I love the way this was recorded. You could tell this was recorded potentially either live. It was definitely recorded with acoustic instruments, and that is just not something that you get all the time nowadays. And I really appreciate that. It's very authentic, got a warmth to it. You know, being recorded in 2008, if you had tried to record it digitally, you might not have necessarily gotten the result you wanted. At least in comparison to today's tonalities, the technology wasn't quite there yet in 2008, and considering that was 13 years ago, that blows my line, you know, my mind a little bit. It's really cool though that they're celebrating their 10th anniversary of this of the album, self-titled album. That's really cool. Yeah, you know, like I haven't really spoken much about Isabel's abilities as a singer. You know, like the bass line was fairly sort of like smooth. It was prominent where it needed to be, doing that fingerstyle stuff, but there wasn't a whole lot of ornamentation in the guitars or, you know, maybe so the occasional drum fill, but there wasn't a whole lot of crazy stuff going on. The instrumentation of it, the piano played sort of like, you know, as I said, the chord progressions and some like melodies or arpeggios, and you know, Isabel had room to just go wherever she wanted to. There was just this. There wasn't a whole lot of vocal overdubs or anything like that. It was mainly her in the center of the mix, which was cool. It didn't distract from the message or the story that she was trying to tell, which is great. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Really good stuff. But yeah, well done to all the members of this band that I listed previously in the review. Um, you know, we had Octavio, Alec, um, Isabel, and yeah, definitely heard a bass guitar. I'm assuming that's Suarez Minor. Yeah, so that's great. Well done to all four people involved in this. And I think the current lineup of the band is, if I'm not mistaken, because this is what I've been told, the current lineup of the band is Alec, Octavio, and Isabel. So, you know, it's amazing what you can get away with without needing like a bass guitarist. Like honestly, a lot of guitarists, especially with 7 or 8 string guitarists, can cover that low end anyways to a certain extent. But yeah, it's all good. Is there anything else I wanted to say about this? You had one or two sort of main sections of the track, and they were repeated, and so are the vocal melodies. They were sequenced. There were occasional little tails that changed on them, or little bits of kind of vibrato, or like a falsetto lift or something, or a head voice lift in the tails of them. I like the variation of the dot to dot, like going between those different melodies and having the chorus kind of split in half between the dot to dot and having the bridge cut a little bit short to kind of make it seem a little bit kind of like out of step, but it catches your attention when the dot to dot comes in. And, you know, just how poignant it is in the mix is quite cool as well. But that effectively is my review of Dot to Dot by Isabel and The Whispers. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm just making sure I haven't forgot anything. I think it's just very refreshing having more than one sort of chord progression or song idea, even in this type of music nowadays. I listen to a lot of music where there's just one chord progression kind of repeated for 3 minutes, and it's kind of a shame because like, I know that it can be tempting to just kinda do that, especially if it's a single and you're not sure how you're gonna go, and it can be kinda crushing to really put a whole lot of time into a track. But I can tell Isabel and The Whispers really cared about the music they were making, and it was a very authentic experience. You know, like, this sort of, like, human connection that's preferred between these 2 people and trying to understand each other better is a beautiful message. I'm sure a lot of people will be able to relate to it. And I know I didn't focus much on the lyrics, but, I think, like, anybody listening to this would be able to sort of understand the lyrics anyway. So straightforward enough that, you know, you can hear them on the first listen because it's been mixed well. Like the recording vocals are mixed well on the mix, and it also like they're not too mystical or like vague. You know, there are lyrics which are kind of in the sweet spot of being like they're like symbolic or metaphoric enough potentially for there to be a little bit of like they're interesting by that virtue, but also at the same time, a lot of people be able to relate to the content or they relate, you know, the comparisons. So I think that this is a song which you'll find success. And if you know, Isabel and the Whispers haven't found success already, I hope that they do in future. But yeah, stay cool and stay safe, and please do go check out Isabel and the Whispers' various social medias and their YouTube page, and you know, please do take care of your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Catch you in the next review. Spider hands out.